Hey guys, Macca here with a video that many of you have been asking for and waiting for. This is my looking at my Gamercard video right after a Gamerscore milestone. Now, if you're unfamiliar, that's totally okay. Let me give you a quick explanation. I really love achievements, as many others on this channel watching this type of content. And with achievements comes the fun aspect of reaching certain milestones. And a recent milestone I reached was 600,000 Gamerscore. A lot of you joined me on my stream on Twitch when I broke it. Some of you didn't get to watch it, and that's totally fine. I'll upload a 4-hour clip of the stream to YouTube shortly after this video goes up. But what I've been doing for quite a long time is going through my Gamercard and then talking about the games that I played to get to my current milestone. So right now I'm at 600,000, and my last video was celebrating 500,000. So in this video, we're going to go over the last 100,000 Gamerscore that I got. Now, this is, I think, the 10th video in the series, and usually I used to do it every 50,000, but it felt weird celebrating 550, so I kind of just waited until I reached 600,000. I'm now at 600,060 because I played a little bit of games to end off my stream and grabbed a couple of achievements. But strap in, get comfy, get a coffee, get a blanket, and enjoy this video in its entirety. It'll probably be longer than an hour if I have to guess. I'm recording it live using my streaming software, so, I'm just kind of going to sit back and relax alongside you, spend some time together, and talk about some video games that I've been playing recently. Now, for some reason, every time I upload one of these videos, people start judging what games I play and how I get Gamerscore, and it's okay if you do. I don't blame you. Just keep in mind, I game in a specific way for my life that is fun for me and works for me. I don't complete a lot of AAA titles because it's simply not possible for me to make YouTube videos and also spend 50 to 60 hours in huge games getting 100%. So I do have a lot of easy Gamerscore, and unfortunately, I don't beat a lot of really hard games, but I actually have a couple of games in this list that I'm really proud of, and a couple of games that are exceptionally rare completions. We'll talk about them as we get to them, but I'll go game by game. Some games I'll spend a little bit longer talking about, and some games I'll kind of just skip over, especially the really kind of crappy ones or the games that maybe I already covered on the channel in some way. So we're covering the last 100,000 Gamerscore. I think the last time I made a video like this was when I completed the Gardens Between in early December 2018. So it's been about 1 full year, plus a little bit, a year and 2 weeks that it's taken me to get my last 100,000 Gamerscore. And maybe we'll get to 700,000 by the end of next year. We'll have to wait and see. We do have a new console on the horizon, which is very exciting. But 2020 should be a really great year as an Xbox fan, hopefully. There's a lot to celebrate. Let's just get into it. So the first game that you see on my list, and actually the game I used to reach 600,000, is Halo the Master Chief Collection. I get a lot of questions about, when I'm going to complete this game. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, never. I'm never going to have enough time in my schedule to want to replay all of the Halos on Legendary, get all of the par times and all of the par scores. I love Halo. I'm one of the biggest Halo fans out there, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of repeating the campaign levels over and over and over again. But I did really enjoy the recent release of Reach. I went through and I made a bunch of videos, grabbed all the collectibles, played a lot of online, and then for the actual achievement I used to break 600,000, I used this achievement called We're Just Getting Started. I thought it was a pretty good name. It's a very easy achievement, don't get me wrong, but I thought it fit well. And then I ended up grabbing 2 achievements while I was helping out a friend right after that. After that, we have Forza Horizon 4. I don't have the full 3,000. There was a title update where you had to get all of the... You have to complete every event in an entire season, which means you have to log in every day for I think close to a month or something, if not maybe the whole week. Ended up not getting that. It's this encore achievement, and I don't know. It just wasn't really an achievement I felt like getting, and I took a short break from Forza. It ended up getting a Battle Royale mode very recently, which I got all the achievements except this one called Pacifist. This achievement is glitched for me. I've done it 10 or 12 times now and still have not unlocked it. but did unlock all the other skill-based ones for winning a game and winning a game without upgrading your car. Forza Horizon 4 is a great game. However, there were a lot of updates recently that just didn't catch my attention for one reason or another. Gears 5, really great game with a great campaign that had so many unnecessary problems when it first launched. Like server-side achievements, things wouldn't unlock, things weren't tracking, collectibles would reset. That was just a giant headache on its own, and I actually ended up really getting screwed over by it personally. When I was making my video for the relic weapons, I think I was one of the first people in the world to get all the relic weapons, but my achievement just didn't unlock for like a week or two. So I ended up, by the time I got the achievement, it was already at like 0.1 or 0.2%, long after I uploaded my video. I've been playing it here and there, but, as much as I love Gears and the campaign was good, I'm not the type of person to sit there and play multiplayer for hundreds of hours, grind out horde mode, and try to go for seriously. I've never gotten a seriously achievement, and honestly, I probably never will. Felix the Reaper is a really cool little Game Pass game. You can get 3 months of Game Pass for $1, by the way. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. But, sorry, 800 of 1,000 is the most you can get in this game. And the reason for that is you are required to get 90 stars to get 100% in the game. But they also locked the last level behind getting 90 stars. So that means you can only get 89 stars out of 90. So you can't defeat the final last level, and you can't unlock all the achievements, which is why they're both at 0. I have tweeted at the devs, and they said that they patched it and they submitted an update, but that update just isn't out yet. So I don't know if it's ever going to come out or not, but if it does, I should only be a couple of levels away from having the 1,000 in a game with a very rare TA ratio. If you're unaware of TA, by the way, I'll give a quick spiel. TA, whenever I mention TA, it's a website called trueachievements.com. If you're super into Gamerscore, you know about it, but if you are a little bit more casual, or maybe you just kind of enjoy the idea of Gamerscore but don't really go for it yourself, trueachievements.com is a cool website. You can track your gamer tag. If you do sign up, make sure you put my gamer tag Macca91 as your referral. But you can essentially track your games and look at like how rare certain achievements are, and then it scales your gamer score based on how rare the achievements you got were. So like a game, a really easy game is only worth 1,000 on TA, as a really hard game on TA might be worth like 6,000. So that's kind of how it works. Felix the Reaper is a really rare, a really high ratio game, but it's actually not that hard and pretty friendly on achievements. The 800, you could probably grab it in under 4 hours, pretty easily following guides. Where the Bees Make Honey recently got a title update with a new achievement, but you can get 1,000 in this or 1,200 in this in about an hour. I do have a video on the channel. The game is very slightly different than it used to be, but you can still very easily follow that video. It's a really not good game, by the way, though, so if you like playing good games, skip this one. Metro Exodus, 855 out of 1,300. There's one DLC pack, which I have done but not gotten all the achievements in. Played a significant amount of the campaign as well. Gotten all the collectibles. Played through one time. Really enjoyed Metro Exodus, but I thought it could have been a little bit better. This game also has a stackable version on Windows 10. And is it on Game Pass as well? It may or may not be on Game Pass on PC. So you might want to take a look into it if you're looking to play it. Grid. Pretty disappointing game, unfortunately. I got 625 out of 1,000. I do have like most of the game complete. I've kind of gotten the soft ending of the career. You can try to 100% the career, but there's one really, really, really dumb achievement in this game. I'm gonna actually show you it. So keep in mind that I have beaten the career mode, and I think I have about 70 or 80% of all of the gold medals in the game. Let's actually find out together. I have 78% of all the gold medals in the game, but there's an achievement for driving 40,000 kilometers, and even though I'm 80% of the way done the game, I'm only 4% of the way of driving far enough to unlock this. It's otherwise a decent list of achievements, but this one achievement is just a little bit ridiculous, and shame on you, Codemasters. Foxyland, really easy 1,000 Ratalaika game. It's okay. It's probably a little better than average for their games. When it comes to the Ratalaika games, that's a publisher that publishes about 1 or 2 games every week, and they're always easy completions. but the games are pretty much never actually good or fun to play, in my opinion. Foxyland is not really any different than that. Life is Strange 2, for some reason it has a subtitle of episode 1, but all 5 episodes are available. Additionally, I think episode 5 is actually going to come to Game Pass a lot earlier than usual. Usually people have been waiting 90 days after it unlocks for the people who bought the game. You had to wait 90 days for it to come to Game Pass, but I think episode 5 is actually going to be like a week or two difference. It should be out very, very soon. If you're watching this video, it might already be out even. So you can grab the 1,000 in this on Game Pass in about 10 hours. Lots of collectibles, videos on the channel if you are interested. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, a game I was pretty excited for, but I guess I had fonder memories of it than how good it actually was. 605 out of 1,000, which is okay. Went back and mopped up some achievements in it recently. This is not a game I would go for 1,000 in. It takes a decent amount of skill and also a really big time commitment, which it just didn't interest me enough to make me want to keep playing it forever and ever. You know what I mean? The Dark Pictures Anthology, a great underrated game. Probably my second most favorite underrated game of the year. If you watch that video, 490 out of 1,000, which is actually pretty good for this game. I think I've gone through it 2 or 3 times, gotten a couple different endings, gotten all the collectibles. I have some stuff left that really isn't that hard at all. All I have to do is like I've done all the hard stuff, by the way. All I really have to do is like replay the game in co-op mode and then replay the game in movie mode. And then I'm pretty much done. I don't know if I'll find time to do that, but if I do, it would be a fun completion to have on my gamer tag. Dirt Rally 2.0. What a game. I would highly recommend this one. It's a very good racing game. The best racing game I've played in 2019. Graphics are insane. Audio's cool. Really big learning curve, but it's worth it. You should give it a try. I have 985 out of 1410. So I have a decent chunk of the original 1,000 and then a decent chunk. I think I've done like the first 2 out of 4 DLC packs. There is one really like kind of skill-based achievement that also you only get 1 or 2 chances to go for it per month because it's like a live community event. So because of that one achievement being so rare to come across and so hard to do if you do get it, I'm probably never going to get the 1,000. If I could get that one achievement out of the way, though, I might end up pushing for that full completion, but we'll have to see. I'd have to get re-addicted to the game at some point in the future. Trials Rising, 1235 to 1235, both of the DLCs completed. What a great game. It actually had a pretty good achievement list, very rewarding, a little bit challenging. You have to get some platinum medals. I think you have to get a diamond medal in one of the DLCs, grab all the squirrels. It was a lot of fun. Very unpopular opinion, I'm sure, but I would have actually loved if it was even a little bit harder. I ended up getting platinum medals in pretty much every single race in the campaign mode, and for no reason. I played this game a lot, even after getting the 1,000, even after completing the DLCs. I played this game a lot. I'm at 100 and, let's do the math, 140 hours, and I've completed like 2,000 tracks, gotten a lot of medals. So Trials Rising, I love that game, and I wish it did a little bit better. I wish more people played it. Minute, this game recently came to Game Pass. I first started this game at the end of December 2018, and then I took like a literal 12-month break and just beat it last week. As I was getting ready to get to 600,000, I wanted to go back and complete some old games I started but never finished. Minute was one of them. It coming to Game Pass was an opportune, a good opportunity to go back as well. It'll take you around 3 hours maybe. It is a little bit skill-based. It's a really cool game, though, and I would, recommend it. Apex Legends. Another unpopular opinion. I would have liked to see an achievement for maybe reaching level 100. I don't know. I know we love our easy achievements, but at the same time, certain games deserve to be played for longer. Apex Legends had a pretty good list. You have to win with every character. You have to do 5,000 damage with every character. And I've played this game also for 125 hours pretty much. I only played a couple of games more than 100 hours, and 2 of them were Trials and Apex. Apex is a great game. It's probably going to make my top 10 games of the year. We'll see. Wandersong recently uploaded a full game walkthrough for this game. It's in Game Pass. There is a little bit of a cheat in-game you can use to get it done in 40 minutes. I don't have too much to say about it because I use the cheat. I don't really know what the game is like outside of using the cheat. So, Tanky Tanks. It recently got an update. It was actually an incredibly difficult 1000 Gamerscore, but then they released an update where you could continue from the last level you failed on, which made the game a lot easier. Before that, it would boot you all the way back to level 1, so you'd have to try to beat all 50 levels at once, which was very difficult. But now you can keep retrying over and over and over again. You can do. I did this one in under an hour. It is a little bit like tough. It's definitely not too easy, but it's also not too hard as well. You might want to take a look into this one if you are into Gamerscore and you think you have most of the easy games done. This one might have flew under your radar. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So I got the original 1000. I think it didn't take me too long. So on the 28th, I was done the 1000, and I started the game on the 24th. So in about 3 or 4 days, got through everything. And then unfortunately, there was a DLC achievement worth 50 that for the longest time was completely glitched. But then it eventually ended up getting fixed. I went back with my buds, and we beat it. Very challenging special ops missions, but very rewarding. I actually thought Call of Duty was pretty good this year. Played it for over 50 hours. 60 hours even. Gunfight mode is my favorite out of all modes. 2v2 gunfight is so much fun and very different for a Call of Duty. I thought the campaign was really good. Overall, multiplayer, I wasn't a very big fan of. I thought it was really tuned for casual gamers, and I thought it was very hard to be skilled at that game and be rewarded for it. Five Nights at Freddy's, we have gotten to the point on Xbox where you no longer even need to submit an icon for your game, apparently. I've not had an icon for this game in my list of games since I played it. There is a glitch in this game that allows you to do it in exactly an hour, pretty much. Very easy. And all you have to do is like every 5 minutes, you have to like click a couple buttons, and then you just put your controller down, come back 5 minutes later, you'll unlock an achievement, and so on and so forth. Very easy game, very easy with the glitch. I don't know if they're going to fix it, or if they've already fixed it. You might want to look into it if you do plan on buying it. Don't really know too much about it otherwise. Super Boxland demake. This game has become a little bit of an inside joke between me and some friends. And yeah, this game, it's one of those, when you do Gamerscore, you play a lot of the Ratalaika games. This is one of them. There's really nothing unique about it. The graphics suck. The audio's usually pretty okay. The gameplay is just meh. And it's just one of those games, you play it for half an hour, you get your 1000, you uninstall it immediately and forget about it for the rest of your life. Halo Reach, I have the 17 out of 17, and I just played this to get ready for Halo Reach re-releasing on the Master Chief Collection. I've had the completion in this for years. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So when I first started this video that you're currently watching, I talked about how I had some easy games and had some hard games. This is probably one of those hard games because it requires you to get a lot of wins. It requires you to do a lot of specific things. And Battle Royale games are incredibly difficult to boost, meaning if someone has the completion, it likely means that they got it the right way, as I did with PUBG. I did everything legit, which is why it took me so long. PUBG originally released on Xbox in, I think, 2017 at the very end of the year. It took them about 9 or 10 months to add achievements, which were retroactively unlocked, which is why you see so many of them unlocked on September 5th and 6th and whatever. Excuse me. And then, yeah, I took a short break, came back, took another break, came back, took another break, came back. And eventually I just kind of grinded my way to the 1000. If you're wondering how long I've played this game, I don't think you want to know. I have 38 days of playtime. Let me pull up my calculator here on my computer, and let's do 38 days times 24 hours. I've played 900 hours of PUBG, and that's legit 900 hours. That's not me idling at the menu. As you can tell, I've played 2,500 matches. I've won 313 of them. Actually, a bunch of them didn't track when I originally played. Probably closer to like 325. And then I probably have, I don't know, 20 or 30 on the test server app, which obviously doesn't count here. 4,000 kills, ton of solo matches, 18 wins in solo, which ain't bad. Most of my wins are in squads, and then every now and again I play duos with a bud. PUBG was an addiction of mine, like no doubt. But then again, I also haven't played it very much at all this year in 2019. For the most part, I've put it down and moved on to bigger and better things. Rocket League, I've had 22 out of 2200 in this one for a long time, but every now and again I like to go back to Rocket League because I think it's a fun game. Tracks, the train set game, easy 1000 with the guide on my channel. It is a Game Pass game, so you want to get it done as soon as possible. It takes about 30 minutes. You build little train tracks. It's like a 3D train track building game. Caretaker game, this one's really easy. It's like a horror game, but following a guide for this is very difficult because it's a very dark game, and you have to move through the map relatively quickly because there's a guy like chasing you for a decent chunk of the game. So it can be a little bit hard to follow a guide for this, in my opinion. But if you are patient enough, you can get it done in under 30 minutes. And it doesn't require too much skill at all, but it is a pretty spooky game. So if you don't like spooky games, you probably want to skip it. It's a first-person spooky game. Football game. This is by Radalaika. You can get 1,000 in an hour. It's like a side-scrolling point-and-click adventure game. Meh, I really don't have much to say about it. It's okay. Fractured Minds, it's $2. For some reason, people love the Radalaika games for $5. People love easy games on Game Pass for $0. But not a lot of people went out and grabbed this for $2. It's a $2 game. A large portion of the money from the game goes to support mental illness initiatives, which is great. And it's actually a pretty decent game. I would highly recommend taking a look into Fractured Minds if you already haven't. Destiny 2. Or as I like to sometimes call it, Density 2. Yeah, I don't know. I was playing it recently. Unfortunately, I forget what the name of the last update was. Shadowkeep. They didn't add achievements to Shadowkeep. Why? Bungie, what have you done to me? But I went back and I grabbed an achievement in Forsaken very recently. Yeah, don't really have much to say about that. I think Shadowkeep was actually a decent update, but it was very short-ended for me personally. As someone who doesn't play Destiny like all the time, I prefer getting my Destiny addictions in chunks and doing it for like a week or two at a time. But Shadowkeep didn't really do it for me. Forsaken was pretty good though. The Outer Worlds. I played this a ton for videos when it was first released. Unfortunately, what happened was Outer Worlds came out the same day as another game. And then I also got Gears 5 like right after. So I ended up having like 3 or 4 games that I needed to try to cover all of them within like a week. I think it was actually maybe Breakpoint, if I remember correctly. So I actually didn't get a chance to finish Outer Worlds. I ended up just making my videos and immediately moving on. Immediately moving on to the next game. Got the hiccups/burps right now. So I don't have a lot of Gamerscore. I actually never beat the game. I'm pretty far in it, actually. I think if I had to guess, probably 2/3 of the way through. I enjoyed it a lot, just never got a chance to go back and play it. Bradwell Conspiracy, a very easy 1000 you could get in about an hour and a half. For some reason, a very unpopular game. Really, no one wants to play this for Gamerscore, even though it's incredibly easy if you follow the guide on my channel. And it's actually a pretty cool game. It's like a first-person puzzle game in the vein of, I don't know, like Portal, The Turing Test, Numa, those types of games. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Would have loved to play this game a little bit more than I did. I don't think it has a time tracker. Xbox, please make devs, force devs, or do it for them. We need a time played tracker. Okay? I know at this point, the only people left watching this video, by the way, are like hardcore achievement people. So preaching to the choir, but it'd be really great if Xbox could manually just track time played for the devs in the stats without them having to manually turn it on, because a lot of them are deciding to skip on the stats page completely. Yeah, not too much to say about this. Probably played it for, if I had to guess, maybe 20 hours. And got a bunch of achievements, but also didn't get a bunch either. These videos tend to be a little bit dry. People love them. Sometimes I go back and watch them, and if I'm in the right mood, they're very fun to watch. But also, sometimes they're just a little bit boring. Not in like a bad way, just in like, you know, it's just a little bit boring, a little bit nerdy. If you guys are still watching, though, comment boobies. It's been a thing we've done for 10 videos now. It confuses people who just scroll down to the comments and they don't watch the whole video. They're like, what? Why are people commenting this? You know what I mean? It's been a fun little gag we've done. Leave that boobies comment, and you know we'll point at each other. We know what we're talking about. Speaking of boobies, One Night Stand Console Edition, a Ratalaika game. This game was actually like, it was an okay concept. It was a dialogue selection game in the style of like a visual novel where you wake up next to someone who you don't know and then you have to try to like talk to them to lead to certain situations. It was an interesting concept and like as a game actually functioned decently well. In terms of achievements, it did take like a full hour and it's pretty complicated to go through and make sure you get all the endings properly. I couldn't really recommend nor not recommend this game. It's pretty average though. The Surge 2, a game that I think I've played like a decent while. I want to say I'm 20 hours into it. Maybe it has a stats screen. It does. Okay, none of this works. It's all at 0, which is incorrect. Also, devs, we need better achievement art for games. Cool. Glad we had that talk. Yeah, the Surge 2 was pretty good, but it also came out at a time, I think it came out at the end of September, right before Outer Worlds came out. And I just didn't have enough time to like play every game to completion. So the Surge 2 is one of those games where I'm probably about halfway through the game and just like didn't have time to go back and finish it, you know what I mean? Hitman 2, I have 1150 out of 2600. My 1150 is all in like the new content. For those unaware, when they released Hitman 2, they also put Hitman 1 into Hitman 2 and you could re-earn all the achievements from scratch. But that also means that they were like part of the completion. So I have all the achievements from like the base game of Hitman 2 plus a bunch of the levels done, but not 100% of the levels done. And then I have no achievements from the original Hitman, which is like Paris. They also added a map called Haven Island. They added a couple new sniper maps. There's like so much content in this game. It's like hard to wrap my head around sometimes. I really love Hitman 2. You should definitely play it if you haven't. But it is a little bit of a nightmare if you're looking to achievement hunt in it. After Hitman 2, we have Control, 800 out of 1,000. I've played this game in like 2 sittings, or 2 chunks rather. I played it a bunch right before it came out for videos. Then I immediately took a break because it came out on the same day, I think, as Man of Medan, which I was also trying to make videos for. And that was also like a week before Gears 5 came out, which I was also trying to make videos for. So I played it for like a chunk of time, and then I took a big break from it. I came back, I played it for a chunk of time, and that 1,000 Gamerscore is like within striking distance. I just need to go back and play it for, I don't know, maybe like, I don't even think I have 5 hours left. But yeah, that's a very common theme on my Gamercard, is me starting a game for videos, getting pretty far in the game, and then like never going back to it. That's just how I like to play games. Obviously, if you're a completionist, that's cool. You probably think, you know, if you have the Gamercard OCD where you have to get all the achievements, you probably hate seeing this. But that's just the way it is for me. Mecha Bolt. I couldn't tell you the first thing about this game. It was that unmemorable. Hymno, 1,000 or 1,000. It's a Ratalaika game, $5. You literally don't even have to play the game to get the 1,000. The achievements are like jump 250 times. So you can just load the game. I think you have to, let's actually check what the achievements are. Do 500 dashes and jump 1,000 times. So you load up the game, you press A 1,000 times to jump, and then I think you press RB 500 times to do all the dashes, and you're pretty much done. There's a couple of achievements you have to do, like light 10 torches in a playthrough, but it's so ridiculously easy to do that pretty much anyone could do it. Hymno. After Hymno, we have the rarest completion on my gamer tag of all time. Actually, no, so that's Scream Ride. My second rarest completion on my gamer tag of all time, and that is Descenders. For those who are on True Achievements and are aware of the system, this game has a 9.0 TA ratio, so it's worth 9,000 True Achievement points. And the funny part is that the rarest achievement of all of them is worth 0 Gamerscore because the dev just wanted to troll everyone who played this game. This game will be on my hardest games of 2019 list. And as you can see, most of these are incredibly rare. A couple of them were glitchy when the game first came out, but they've been patched since. Even as simple as like doing something as surviving a boss jump is pretty rare. So a lot of people are loading up this game and either they don't like it or they're immediately failing at it because it is quite difficult just mechanically, and then they're just giving up. But you got to do a bunch of tricks. You got to beat all the types of levels, and then things start getting crazy. You have to finish an entire run from front to back without failing out, which is very hard. You have to defeat Career Plus mode. You have to defeat the final boss jump in the volcano, which is like this crazy process in and of itself. You have to finish Career Plus. You have to do all of the bonus worlds, which is like an insane... It sounds easy. It's not. You got to do you have to do these specific paths throughout all of the levels. Make sure you build up a bunch of extra lives. By the way, if you're unaware, this is a downhill 3D mountain biking game that is designed in the style of a roguelite. So you're unlocking abilities as you play based on your points. But then every time you crash, you lose a life. And eventually, once you crash out, you lose the game. And then the next time you play the game, like, things are not the exact same as they were. Everything's a little bit different. All the tracks are different. All the upgrades are different, etc., etc. So that's a 0.01%er. You have to complete the game without bailing a single time. So that's a 0.01%er. You have to do like a 40-minute run of extremely hard tracks without falling a single time. And then last but not least, we have the biggest troll achievement, which is Pull My Finger. So this is a complete RNG-based achievement. Every time you do like a 20-minute run, you have a 1 in 5 chance of unlocking a rare item, and then a 1 in 50 chance of that rare item being the item you need. And the item we need is the whoopee cushion. So every 20 minutes you do a run, you have a 1 in 250 chance of getting this item. I was lucky enough to get this item on stream. I'll talk about this game a little bit more when we talk about the hardest games of the year. But Descenders, out of all the games on my gamer tag, if you think I don't play hard or complete hard games, I would challenge you to complete Descenders and then leave me a comment saying, "Hey Macca, I beat Descenders. Also, you don't do any hard games," and then I'll take you seriously. We Were Here, very cool Games with Gold game. A very it's a co-op based game. You got to play it with a buddy online. And pretty cool concept. I actually really enjoyed it. Sea of Thieves. I'm only at 305. This game keeps getting updated. It keeps getting achievements. I think I actually recently got an achievement. But every now and again, I like to log in and see what's kind of new, what's happening. And I think recently they had you could unlock like a Halo-themed ship in the game through one of Xbox's like events they hosted on Mixer. So I think I loaded up the game to make sure I got that ship. Age of Empires Definitive Edition and Age of Empires Definitive Edition. This is the old version. This is the new version. If you did the old version, which only took like 2 hours because you could input cheats in the menu, but if you did the old version and then uninstalled it and installed the new version and loaded it up, it would automatically just give you all of the achievements in the new version. So you could basically double dip, only having to do the game one time. But if you don't already own the old version, have it installed and ready to go, you can't get the old version completed anymore because you can't download it. And as soon as you load up the new version, your save gets imported and then the old version stops working. Halo 5 Guardians. This is just a game I like to go back to every now and again, do a couple of online matches. I like to keep my Halo skills sharp. I'm excited for Halo Infinite. Halo 5 is a pretty good game. I really like it, but I just don't care enough about doing the campaign on Solo Legendary to go for the 1250. ACA Neogeo Garu Mark of the Wolves for Windows. I've been doing a couple of the ACA Neogeo games on Windows just to boost up my gamer score when I have a little bit of extra time. And I have, a knack for getting some achievement points. I set goals at the beginning of the year, and if I start falling behind, I try to get a couple of easy games going just to boost myself back up to where I should be. My goal for 2019 was to reach 610,000. I still could technically get there, but realistically I won't. We'll see. Super Willu D-Make, 1,000 to 1,000. I don't remember anything about this game. Gravity Duck. You play a duck, and it's gravity-based. Don't buy this game unless you love achievements. It's super easy. Costume Quest 2. Why did I play Costume Quest 2 in the middle of August? It's a game about Halloween. Well, is this July? No, it's August. Me and my friends came up with this idea where each one of us would go into our backlog and pick 5 games that we would be interested in playing that we never had a chance to play. And then everyone else in the group voted on your list. And based on how they voted, you had to play the game that your friends wanted you to play. So I had a list of a bunch of games I wanted to play. Costume Quest ended up being the game that my friends wanted me to play, so I played it. I think I beat it in like 6 hours. It was a really great game. It actually aged very well. I think it's from 2014 or 16. I don't remember. But it was actually really fun. A really well put together game. Would have been really nice to play it around Halloween. ACA Neogeo Garu Mark of the Wolves on Xbox. Don't remember. Let's just pretend ACA Neogeo games just don't exist. Is everyone cool with that? Because I am. Glass Masquerade. It's a puzzle game where you're literally like putting together pieces of a puzzle, but they're in the shape of a stained glass window, and you're just building stained glass windows. I think there's like, I don't know, I want to say maybe 25 different puzzles, and each puzzle can take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. And when you're done, you get your 1,000. It's a pretty basic 1,000. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours, I want to say. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, 690 out of 1825. They keep adding DLC to this game. I talked about this game in depth in the last video I made for counting Gamerscore, so I won't go in depth, but I think they added an update where you could basically log in and it would automatically give you an achievement or two for like unlocking characters. So I just logged in and I probably unlocked. Let's quickly look actually while we're here then. Yeah, so Specialist Superfan. I think this achievement, like you literally just logged in and it just gave it to you. So there's that. Moving on from there, I have Sea of Solitude, a very underrated game. If you play the game Submerged way back in the day, it's similar to that. You play a person on a boat and you are pretty much like escaping from a monster, but all the monsters are just like metaphors for hard times of life. And it's a personal story about a person going through stuff, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's a pretty good game and it tackles some interesting issues and it does it in a pretty cool and unique way. Pixark, there is a 1 hour free trial for this game where you can get 1,000 Gamerscore during the free trial. I have a video available for that. If you end up missing out on the free trial, there is a way to extend your free trial basically forever if you do end up needing to, but you should be able to get this game done in an hour. It's like it's Minecraft meets Ark, but I don't think the devs support it anymore. Super Space Serpent. If you play this game, do not play it on Xbox One. Instead, play it on the Xbox 360. No, sorry, on your PC. Play it on your PC because or your Xbox One S, because it doesn't run well on the Xbox One X at all and almost crashes. And when the game crashes, it prevents you from like beating the last level. Sagebrush, Rad-alike game, easy 1,000 with a guide on my channel. Can be done in about 35 minutes. It's one of their better games, and it has a pretty cool story and a pretty cool art style. SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. So this is a very easy 1,000. I think it takes less than an hour. The only problem is this game is $40. It does go on sale quite a lot for half price. But there is a way to basically cheese every single achievement just using the menu of the game. So you basically, like, the game plays itself and then it just gives you achievements. So it's super easy, but I would say most people aren't getting this game because it costs kind of a lot of money. Sniper Elite V2 Remastered. I just played this game to make videos for you guys. Played it on the easier difficulty, got all the collectibles, pretty much it. And then I moved on to a different game. ACA Neogeo King of Fighters 2000. All of the ACA Neogeo games I play are like the easy ones. So if you see one on my list that I've played, it realistically means that it's pretty easy. ACA Neogeo Art of Fighting 3 for Windows. Again, a lot of these ACA Neogeo games can be re-completed on Windows. So I've been going back and playing some of the easy ones on Windows to double up on that 1,000. Grasscutter Mutated Lawns. I streamed this. This video is probably going to be an hour and a half. Whoa. I just realized, because I think these games are from August or July maybe, and we still got like 6 months to go. Grasscutter Mutated Lawns. Yeah, it's an hour to 2 completion. You play I think you play a lawnmower and you got to cut all the grass. There's it's like a little kind of over the top platformer. I don't know. It's one of those like action. You move your character around in like a certain pattern to try to cut all the grass without dying. Wolfenstein Youngblood, 675 out of 1,000. What a terrible achievement list in this game. Holy smokes, whose idea was it to make this achievement list? You have to like level up all the weapons, you got to get all the collectibles, which is fine. You got to beat the game, but it's just a grind fest. You end up beating the game and you just pretty much the only thing left for you to do is just grind all the weapons to level 10, which is just not fun to do. AC and Neogeo World Heroes. I don't know why this game's up here. I thought I did this game like years ago. Hoggy 2, Easy Ride Alike game. The Grand Tour game. Very interesting Amazon Game Studio game where it meshes the worlds between the show, the Grand Tour, and like a game. It kind of goes in between the game and then showing you parts of the show, and then you play the show in the form of a game. It's actually a really cool setup. I'm missing a couple of achievements. I probably haven't done like the last 2 or 3 episodes. If I do get a chance to go back, that would be great to get this completion, though. Or re-get the completion. Basically, the way the game works is every time there's a new episode, it kind of gets added as DLC. So even if you keep playing it, there's like new achievements added every week sometimes. Abzu, 1,000 of 1,000. I think this is the PC version of Abzu, because I haven't played Abzu for like, well... Yeah, so this is the PC version that I played in July. You could stack the game on Game Pass if you had Game Pass for PC. I'm very lucky I did it because the game is no longer on Game Pass. So if you missed your chance, you missed your chance. Sumo Party, what a weird game. You press the face buttons on your controller to move the character, and then a wall comes at the character, and you have to like contort your body through the hole in the wall. It's fun for like an hour, but then after that, it's just kind of dumb. Siberian, the time-traveling warrior. I literally don't even remember playing this game. That's how unmemorable it was. AC and Neogeo, the King of Fighters 2003. Literally, if you showed me gameplay of King of Fighters, I couldn't tell you which one's which. I think I've played like 6 of them, and they're all the same game to me pretty much. Just the later the year, the more like characters you could pick at the same time. Mochi Mochi Boy, who cares? The Blackout Club, 400 out of 1,000. Mochi Mochi Boy, just, unless you're into Gamerscore, don't waste your time. The Blackout Club, very cool concept, but it just fell a little bit short in its progression. Had a lot of fun getting the 400. I could probably squeeze out another couple hundred out of this game pretty easily if I boosted it online with some buddies, but I just didn't feel like going back. Hexa Logic for this game, it's a really easy completion. I would highly recommend you go on Steam and find the Steam community guide. So just go on Google, type in Hexa Logic Steam community guide, and you'll find a picture guide that will take you through like all 90 levels of the game, and you could get your 1,000 in about an hour and a half. I think it's an hour and a half. I want to say it's an hour and a half. It might be a lot less, actually. It might be like 45 minutes. But you can be done this game very quickly. It's a puzzle game where you alter little tiles in order for like, it's kind of like Sudoku, where all of the tiles have to like match a certain amount of numbers. AC and Neogeo World Heroes Perfect. Probably the PC version, although it doesn't say for Windows. Yeah, we'll move on. Bouncy Bullets, a Radalaika game. Out of all the Radalaika games, this one's probably one of the better ones. Yeah. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I don't have much to say about this game. I just logged in because they had a really cool event this summer, but I've talked about this game in detail before. Paradox Soul. Have a guide for this game. Don't have too much to say about it. I don't know why it's so high on my list. This game, I think I played it all the way back in January. It's like a side-scrolling, point-and-click adventure platformer game. Warlocks Tower, it's a puzzle game, isometric style, where you have to like go around. You basically just input like up, down, left, and right, and you navigate your way through the level, but you have to navigate it in such a way that you don't get caught. But it's like turn-based. It's not like live action. Like pressing up takes a turn, and then stuff happens in the game during that turn, and you have to react. Neon Junctions. I replayed these games to make... I know why they're all up here in June, because we're in June. These are just some games that I replayed to make my easiest games of the year list. Neon Junctions, first-person puzzle game. Pretty cool, actually. Not a bad game, and an easy 1,000. Crackdown 3 campaign. I've went back a couple of times to this game thinking I would want to get all the orbs, and then I'd try to get orbs for about an hour or two and realized how much I hated trying to get 100% of the orbs, because there was always just one orb left over somewhere in some part of the game. And I just stopped playing. And recently they added more DLC achievements that I just haven't had a chance to go back. I need a sip of water. Please give me just a second. All right. Layers of Fear 2. So, unfortunately, with Layers of Fear 2, what happened was started playing the game. I started making videos for the game. My dog got really sick, and unfortunately, we had to put him down. So I stopped playing video games for about a week after that, and didn't get a chance to finish Layers of Fear 2. Ascendance, First Horizon, really cool first-person game. If you guys remember the game, what was that game? It starts with an R. It was like Refunked. There was a game called Refunked, and Ascendance, First Horizon is exactly like that game. It's basically first-person Mirror's Edge, and all you're doing is like parkouring back and forth. Plague Tale Innocence, 685 out of 1,000. Played this one to make a collectibles guide. I missed a bunch of achievements along the way, and I didn't feel like replaying the entire 15-hour campaign just for 140 Gamerscore. So I ended up moving on to some other games. I might actually go back to this game. I really did want the 1,000. I think if this game ever comes to Game Pass, that's when I'll do it, though. I'll go back to it if it ever comes to Game Pass. Rage 2. I played this game for 2 hours on stream, and then I realized that I didn't like it. Mortal Kombat 11. One of my better completions, because I did complete it pretty short, like in a pretty short time span after it launched. It's not very hard, but it's a little bit grindy. Takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of planning. You got to play some online matches as well. I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat 11, but pretty much as soon as I beat it, I ended up moving on to some other stuff. Trials Evolution, what a completion. Whoa, Macca only does easy games. Well, look at this. For those who don't know, I play a lot of Trials, like hundreds of hours of this series, and it's one of the few games that I'm like good at, I want to say. And it recently got added in May backwards compat. So I decided to go back and finally give this game another try after 7 years of not playing it. Ended up getting the 2 achievements that evaded me for all those years, including Ultimate Endurance 2 and one of the toughest achievements in any Trials game ever, Whale of the Banshee. I know it says 0.22%, but there's literally no way that's true. I think 800 gamers have this achievement, and I'm pretty sure there's like 4 or 7 million people on the leaderboard of Trials Evolution when you actually go into the game. So we're talking about maybe 1,000 people out of at least a million. So I don't know where they got 0.22 from, but one of the hardest achievements I'll probably ever get. Bird Game Plus, Rattle Like a Game. You play a bird flying around the screen. You get 1,000 gamer score in under an hour. Iron Snout. You play a pig and you fight off the wolves. You literally just stand there and you just rotate your right stick in a circle. You do that for about an hour, and you'll have your 1,000 gamer score, pretty much. Overwatch Origins Edition, probably just some DLC. I think they released some timed content, specifically in early May. Yeah, which is what I went back for. I guess it was called Storm Rising, and I did do it on the hardest difficulty, which I guess was Legendary. I like to go back to Overwatch for the events, but I just don't always get a chance to. I ended up missing an event last year, and I ended up missing Halloween's event this year, and I think now there's a Christmas event, which hopefully I don't miss. But Gears of War 4, I don't know why it's up here this high on my list. There's 4,000 gamer score in this game? Okay. Zeroption Invasion, one of the worst games I've ever played for gamerscore. It's like one of the classic Galaga style games, but it's just like worse in every way possible. Old Man's Journey, Game Pass game, Easy 1000, pretty cool game actually as well. Halo Wars Definitive Edition. Every now and again when I get I got a new PC and then I got a new monitor and I wanted to go back and like try some PC gaming to see if I could get into it. So I decided why not load up Halo Wars Definitive Edition and see how that handles. It's fun, but it's just it didn't catch my attention enough to want to play through the whole game. World War Z, 440 out of 1,000. Very good, underrated game. It was a lot of fun with friends, but the 1,000 in this game is extremely difficult. It involves a lot of grinding online and involves a lot of leveling and playing on the hardest difficulty, and that's just not for me. Or at least it's not for me when it comes to this game specifically. Super Weekend Mode, you can get this game done in under 10 minutes, but realistically it'll probably take you around 15 or 20. It's a rhythm game where you have to catch hearts that are falling from the sky, and one of the easiest completions of the year. Gang Beasts, 1,000 out of 1,000. I have a guide for this game. It's not particularly hard, but it's also not particularly easy. It does involve, I think you will be required to use 2 controllers for some of the achievements, or you can play online with a buddy. It's an interesting game, but I honestly haven't played it like the actual way it's intended to be played. Tom Clancy's The Division 2, a really interesting game, 800 out of 1,000. It did add like raids recently and a bunch of cool levels. I ended up going back to this game to try some of them out, but they just weren't for me. This would have been a game I would have loved to get 1,000 Gamerscore in, but there's a couple of just like dumb achievements at the very end. One of them was like you had to fill up the entire deck of cards or something, and every time you defeated a named enemy, it would drop like a certain card. And it would essentially just be you running around for hours and hours hoping to get an enemy to spawn. And then eventually when they did spawn, they would just drop a random card. And I don't really like those types of grinds. They're never fun for me personally. One Leaves, it's a free game. You can get 1,000 in about 3 hours. It's a first-person spooky game that tries to scare you from not smoking cigarettes. Very cool. Hyper Jam. I think this is like a 4-person brawler game, and if you have 4 controllers, you can play all 4 characters like against yourself. You can play with yourself for achievements, fellas. Yeah, you can get 1,000 in an hour, and it's really easy. Sekiro, or Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. What an incredible game. It's going to be in my top 3 games of the year for sure. We'll see where it falls. It was a game that I started playing. I was like, oh, I don't know if this game is for me. It's like, people are saying it's like Dark Souls, and I wasn't really into Dark Souls. People are saying it's like impossibly hard, and I know what games I'm good at. I'm good at like racing games and first-person shooters, and I know the types of games I'm bad at, and I'm terrible at RPGs, and I'm not very good at action games. And I was like, I don't know if I want to sit there and die a million times. But oh man, what a good game. So rewarding. You learn the mechanics. It's like such a fair game too. You never die and go, oh, that's BS. I didn't deserve to lose. Whenever you lose in this game, it makes sense. I'll talk about it more in my Game of the Year video though. Driving Essentials. This is a game that was made, or it's not really even a game. Like, you know, when you're studying for a driving test, imagine you're studying for a driving test, but then someone turned it into a game. You're like driving around in first person, but like you have to like obey all the laws of the road, and like you got to watch out for cyclists, and like you got to put your signal on before you change lanes and stuff. It was a very funny game to stream. That's the only reason I played it, because I thought people on stream would really enjoy it, and we had a very good time. But I can't really recommend it. It was also like $50 when it first came out. I think it's went on sale, and it might be on like a permanent sale for like 15. You might want to check it out though. Metagal, it's a Mega Man clone by Radalaika Games, $5, easy 1,000, terrible game. Trials HD, I don't know why I played this recently, but I did. The Walking Dead, the final season, we ended up getting our 1,000 out of 1,000, which I didn't think we would. Firebound, what was their name? Skybound. Anyways, some dev ended up kind of picking up the last 2 episodes before Telltale went out of business, and they did put those two episodes out, and I was able to complete them. Battlefield 5, I talked in depth about this game in my last video. The only reason I ended up replaying it and having it back up on my list was because in March they released the Battle Royale mode. I love Battle Royale games, so I went back to try it. Battlefield 5 Firestorm mode was terrible. Awesome P, what a terrible game. Don't play this game unless you want to gouge your eyes out. It's a platforming game where you play a P, and everything, I'll click into it to see if there's a screenshot to show you guys. I mean, you can imagine, the game is like, those are the colors of the game. That's like, the game has one color, and that color is green. It looks terrible, and it's also I don't even know how to explain the problem with the game. The game has like 4 islands where you have to go from island to island, but when it was ported from PC to Xbox, they accidentally made a mistake, and the way the game works is that you start on the hardest island. You're not supposed to, but the first 3 levels you play are the hardest levels in the game, and then the game gets easier and easier and easier, and the last level in the game is actually supposed to be what is the tutorial. So I think they just like made a gigantic mistake with the orders of the levels, and like no one even cares to fix it. It makes absolutely no sense for the levels to be in the order that they are, and for the tutorial, the levels that are designed like a tutorial to be the last levels you play. Daggerhood, Radalaika, $5. It's an okay game, but like also the achievements are for like doing the first 12 levels, and the game has I think like 100, so you barely get to enjoy any parts of the actual game. Aftercharge, 1000 of 1000. This was on Game Pass. It's a very rare completion on true achievements with a high TA ratio. It requires you to be very decent with all of the characters. I also did this game before they updated it. They did a lot of updates. One of the updates was double or triple XP. So there was a leveling achievement where you had to level to like maximum rank, which is now a lot easier because, like I said, it's either double or triple XP. I did it before that, I think. And then there's like certain different, it's an asymmetric game where robots face off against, I guess like other robots. What was the, oh, there's Warlocks, and there is, I don't know, there's 2 different classes of enemy types, Warlocks and Extractors. No, I don't know, dude. I don't remember. I've played too many games in the last year. But there was like one achievement for each character type. You had to win a bunch of games and level up a bunch. And it was a pretty rare completion. And since then, they've also taken it out of Game Pass. And the game's pretty much dead. There's literally like no one playing it. And it's an online-only game. So I don't even know if it's like, don't pick this game up anymore. It's too late. It's past its prime. Resident Evil 2. Remember when I told you about games that I play and then right before I end up completing them, I end up having to move on? So I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 2, I played it, and then I think the week after, Ace Combat came out, or something like that. But I beat the game on normal. I beat the game on normal with the second character. I think I got an S rank. I beat the game without healing and without taking a certain amount of steps. I think I'm like 80% of the way through a hardcore a hardcore run without looking into the inventory menu, and then I just had no option but to start playing another game for the YouTube channel, and I just never went back. But if I were to go back, literally I'm like most of the way through a run without inspecting my inventory, which is probably the hardest achievement in the game. And then after that, I would just have to speedrun the game on hardcore with each character. But there's not a glitch. There's like a cheat now where you can buy infinite ammo and start with a rocket launcher, and you can run through the game in like an hour and a half. So if I found 5 hours, I'd easily have the 1000. Sorry, I got a hiccup attack. There's also some DLC achievements which I just haven't gotten or even tried to. Access Denied, a puzzle game where you get a puzzle box and you have to try to solve it. It's actually a pretty interesting concept, and it actually works pretty well. I kind of thought this game was good, and it is like $5, so you can give it a go. I do have a guide available as well, which makes it only take about 30 minutes. We're going to skip Trials Fusion because I've talked about it a million times. Ace Combat 7, what a great game. Flight games are fun. I stand by that. Ace Combat 7 is one of the best flight games I've ever played. I used to love flight games, and like Tom Clancy's Hawks and Hawks 2 came out, and then we just didn't have a single flight game for like 5 years, or even longer than that, like 8 years. And then here comes Ace Combat 7. It's coming to the Xbox, which is a big deal because they don't always come to Xbox. And it's a fantastic game from front to back with a great campaign, good graphics, a lot of variety in the gameplay. I really loved Ace Combat. Don't be surprised if you see it in my top 10 of the year. Battlefield 1, I have no idea why it's up here on my list. Heroes Trials, an easy 1000. I have a guide on the channel. I think it takes about half an hour, and it is a like third-person dungeon crawler type game, but it's a little bit more cartoony and probably made for children. Onrush. Now, I talked about Onrush in depth in one of the previous videos I made of this, and in that video, I talked about how one of this achievement, I think, no, it was this achievement right here, Superstars. I don't know, it was one of these achievements, was just completely glitched for me. I could not get it to unlock, even though I had all of the proper conditions met. And because of that, I never wanted to go back and try to complete it because I knew I would never get 1,000. But they ended up putting out an update, and the achievement just kind of unlocked for me randomly. And I think it actually unlocked with like the original date I got it, even though I didn't get it on that date. But then once I had everything done and I knew that all I had to do was get 100% and max out my superstar rating, I decided to give it a go in early January 2019 and played it for 2 or 3 days and got the completion. Onrush is a really great game and also very rewarding, a little bit challenging. It's a really good achievement list as well, in my opinion. Tracks, build it, race it. What a terrible game. Yeah, this game sucks. I made a video about it. The video about the game is about how much the game sucks. Planet Rick's 13, side-scrolling, point-and-click adventure style game. A video on the channel takes about 20 minutes. Yeah, it's very unmemorable. Scalextrics. So Tracks and Scalextrics are literally the same game with 2 different titles. Tracks is for the North American market, and Scalextrics is for the European market. Both of them can be done in an hour, and they both suck equally as much. Celeste, I think I had the 1,000, let's check. I had the 1,000 in Celeste, I think, in my last video. Yeah, I've had the 1,000 in it for a while. I think I loaded this game up because it got DLC, like a free new chapter. And I thought maybe the chapter would have achievements. It ended up not, but it would have been cool if it did. Red Dead Redemption, still haven't actually. This is the hilarious part of the game of like being a YouTube content creator. I still haven't beaten this game. So a little bit of a spoiler alert, but near the end of the game, Arthur dies. And because I needed to film all of my videos as Arthur, because I didn't want to spoil the game for everyone watching, I purposely didn't beat the game so that I could keep filming videos as Arthur. And then I had my friend who had beaten the game film some parts of the game from after Arthur died so I could also get clips of that for a different video. And I ended up just like keeping my save right before he dies for videos, and ended up never going back and just finishing the game. But again, if it's not obvious, like YouTube, as much as I love Xbox and like Gamerscore, like Xbox is my #1, and I love achievements in Gamerscore, but at the end of the day, I do make a lot of sacrifices with my achievements and the games I play in order to create the content for you guys on YouTube. And sometimes as a result of that, things like this happen, like me never beating Red Dead Redemption 2's story to 100%. Things like starting a game and then moving on from it before I get 1,000. Occasionally, if I get 2 games that I have to cover at the same time, I end up playing the game on easy and skipping the cutscenes just so I can get through it fast enough to cover the entire game as fast as possible. So unfortunately, some of those actions, although I am completely okay with them, some of them end up reflecting back to my gamertag. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2. This is actually a pretty fun game. I remember going through it and thinking like, you know what? It was different. It was fun. It was cheap. It was, it didn't overstay its welcome. The achievements were kind of fun to get. If you could find Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 on a good sale, I'd recommend it. Mother Gunship, I think I talked about this game in my last video when I hit 500,000. I did. I ended up just loading it up to film a video on it, which is the same for Mutant Year Zero. Mutant Year Zero actually got DLC, but the DLC was broken for like months. I don't even know if they went back and they fixed it, but it might be worth going back for me to figure it out. Spencer, one of the worst games on Xbox, and no, I am not exaggerating. This game is terrible. I personally don't even think it should be allowed to be sold for money on the Xbox store. It does a disservice to the people who browse the Xbox store and have to see garbage games like this. Am I being a little bit harsh? Yes, but it's something I'm passionate about. I remember back in the 360 days where you could go on the Xbox Live Arcade store, and pretty much most of the games you would see on there were good quality. And even if they weren't necessarily for you, at least you knew that they had some kind of standard that they hit in order to be released on the Xbox Live Arcade. And that no longer exists. Spencer is of the quality of a game of a high school student doing a project in order to pass a course in high school. And personally, I don't believe that they should be allowed to ask for $10 and clog up the Xbox Live store. I'm going to slam my fist down. I'm actually not like that crazy about it. Like, look, I understand why games are sometimes on the store, even if they're bad. Xbox obviously wants to support as many developers as possible. But at the same time, I feel like there has to be some bar of quality that these games need to meet. And in my opinion, this game doesn't meet any bar of quality. Donut County, 1000 out of 1000. I think it was on Game Pass. It's a really fun game. It's like, you guys are familiar with the game Katamari Damacy, or Damachi, I guess some people would call it. It's a similar concept. You play a hole in the ground, and you have to swallow up items. And as you swallow up items, the hole gets bigger. And then by the time you finish the level, you're big enough to swallow everything. And when you clear the level of all the items, you win. I do have a video. I think it's an hour long, and it's a pretty fun completion. I would highly recommend it, especially if it's in Game Pass. I don't remember. I think it is. Stormboy. I think this game was the easiest completion of 2018 in my video. It takes 15 minutes. Full Blast. Why is Full Blast on here? I think I also just loaded this for a video because I think I beat this. Yeah, I beat this a long time ago. So we're going to skip that one because I've already talked about it in the last video. Unravel 2 talked about it already. Dead Cells we've talked about. Energy Cycle Edge. So Energy Cycle used to be one of the easiest completions of all time on the Xbox. Energy Cycle Edge was like the 3D version following up. It took a very long time for someone on Steam to make a complete guide of this game. But as soon as someone made a picture guide that showed every result for every level, it became incredibly easy. And for that reason, a bunch of people started playing it mid-December. And I think you can do it in, under an hour. Below, very disappointing game. Unfortunately, I had high hopes, but my hopes were kind of crushed. I didn't really think this game was very good. ACA Neogeo Cup 98, The Road to Victory. I think this is like a soccer game. I don't really remember playing it very much, though. I think it takes 1 to 2 hours. And I think it takes actually a little bit of skill, if I remember correctly. Monster Hunter World, I think I just loaded that up for a video. That's for a video, We're almost done, by the way. I think we have 4 or 5 games left. Noir, Chronicles, City of Crime. So for those, if you want to learn, there's a developer or a publisher called Artifex Mundi. They make point-and-click games, and this is one of their point-and-click games. I think they have like 30 or 40 of them. And they're all actually very high quality, assuming that you like that genre. So this was one of their games. I like to play 1 or 2 of their games a year just to kind of mix it up. And this was the game that I played late last year. You can follow a guide, but it's actually pretty rewarding not to. And you can actually, I think you can get 1,000 without a guide, as long as you're paying it, as long as you read the achievements beforehand and you know what you're looking for. It's actually more rewarding to play without a guide. I need another sip of water. Deployment. What's Deployment? Oh, I remember this game. Deployment is like a over-the-top arena shooter game where I think you play as like a robot or like a car. And I think this game takes under an hour, but there was like so little info out about the game that you have to kind of figure it out for yourself, if I remember correctly. Maybe someone has made a guide on true achievements for it, but From what I remember, it wasn't too hard, but you did have to play it like in a very specific way to make sure everything would unlock. So deployment. What a terrible picture for the game. Like, it doesn't remind me of what the game looks like at all. Siggy, a fart for Mulasina. This is actually a kind of fun, like, stupid game that didn't really take itself too seriously. It's a side-scrolling platformer where you play like a knight and you fart your way through the level. You have to like pick up these little tokens on the map. It was actually pretty well designed, had good music. There's a couple of like speedrun achievements. I think you have to speedrun the game and get 100% in 30 minutes. So like if you were perfect on your first run, you could do the game in 30 minutes, but you'll likely have to play 2 or 3 times to get used to like the bosses and everything. Pretty fun, rewarding game. And then last but not least, last video, the 500,000, we ended up with Gardens Between being the last game I played. And the game I played right after that was Mechanica. I just followed a guide for this. I think there's a video guide on YouTube that you could probably just search, and I think it takes like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. It's a like action point and click type game, with like a cool, unique art style, but like it wasn't a great game by any means at all. But that brings me to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me see if this works. I'm going to switch to face cam. Hopefully. Oh, hey, it worked. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that hair day. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I had a really fun time making this video. It's an hour and 11 minutes. I filmed it just nonstop. Me sitting here in my office, front to back. I hope you enjoyed it. So I reached 600,000 in, like I said, 54 weeks after my last video. So I'm doing about 100,000 a year. It would be interesting. I'm going to try to aim for 700,000 by the time the Series X comes out. But I'm also not going to get my hopes up. I have a lot of plans for 2020, and a lot of it involves covering the really big games like Cyberpunk and the launch titles for the Series X and Halo and everything like that. So it should be an exciting year, but I'm also going to be very busy. So I don't know how much time I'll have to grind out the easy Gamerscore games, which seems to be like generally what you want to do if you want a high Gamerscore is you got to play every week and make sure you play the Rad-alike games. Also, sorry for this like Gamerscore thing in the corner. It's wrong. It's from yesterday's stream. But if you do want to watch me stream, I do stream easy Gamerscore games every now and again. Twitch.tv/Mac90 Productions. You can follow me on Xbox if you want. You'll see here we're kind of climbing up the followers. If I switch back, and yeah, you can have me on your leaderboard. And you can try to compete against me on the leaderboard if you want. Try to beat me every month. Some months I put up a decent amount of points. This month I have 7,500 so far. Some months I don't put up that much at all, though. But nonetheless, you know, it's a lot of fun to do this. I hope you guys are as passionate about achievements as I am. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment the secret word. And I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.